Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Paper Crafts, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. Welcome back to another project, and today it's this little Halloween treat box here. It measures 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches to here, or 3 inches if you take it right to the top. So that's 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres to here, and let me just double check on my trimmer. It's about 7.6 centimetres in height right to the top of here. So this is not an original design, although I have changed it slightly. The original box that I was inspired by, excuse me, was a little box recently made by one of my crafty teammates, Alison Bradley, and I'll put a link to Alison's project in the description bar below. And although I've used Alison's original measurements for cutting the cardstock and for the score lines, I've slightly changed the size of the DSP panels, and I've put it together. I've cut it slightly differently and put it together in a slightly different way. So I'm going to show how I made my version, but all credit really goes to Alison for the original measurements, but I will link to Alison's lovely project in the description bar below. So I'm going to show you how I made this. I used basic black cardstock for my box, and the DSP is from Magic, in the Magic in This Night 12 by 12 pack, and I used the glittered organdy ribbon to tie a knot at the top. I felt it looked like a bat, like the bats on my DSP. And the stamp set I used for my little spider was the Little Treats cling stamp set, so I used this little spider here. So I'm going to show you how I made it. I'll just pop my stamp set back over to the side just now, and I'm going to use a slightly different colour. Another colour that's in this DSP pack is Blackberry Bliss, and I'm not good at even touching paper with spiders on it, but this is Blackberry Bliss that's on this particular sheet of DSP as well. So I'm going to show you how I made it, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard first of all. So you will need a piece of cardstock which measures 8 1/4 inches by 6 inches, or 21 centimetres by 15 centimetres, so just marginally smaller. Now on the short side, score at 2 inches on each side, just to make sure that these parts measure exactly the same. You can score at 2 and 4, but I just find sometimes it's a little bit off, and I prefer to do 2 score lines and turn it, or 1 score line and turn it and do it the same again. So on the long side, score at 1 1/8 and 3 1/8 on both sides. So turn it after you've done those and do it again at 1 1/8 and 3 1/8, and that's all the scoring done. So let's try not to bash the tripod this time. Oh no, wait a minute, I need my scoreboard back again. Come on Karen, pay attention. You want to put a little tick mark at 4 1/8, nearly got it wrong there, and the same on the other side, so it's halfway between these score lines. So I'm just going to push that back out again so that I don't score to the wrong one. And then using your ruler, and you've seen this done before, we're going to add score lines from that tick mark down to these corners here where those score lines cross over, and we're going to do the same on both sides. So I'm just going to make sure I get my ball tool right in the middle of that crossroads, and just go back and forward a few times to get a decent score line on there, like so, and the same on this side. I just want to make sure I've got my ball tool right in the middle of that crossover, and add my score lines like so. There we are. And then I'm going to fold and burnish all my score lines. There we are. And these ones too. And I'm not going to pay much attention to these triangular score lines for now. We'll come back to those. So looking at it this way around, we're going to remove these 4 rectangles here, and we're going to take the score lines as we go. So remove the score line as well. So I want the straight edge on the squares like so, and on these little rectangular panels in the middle at the top, and the same on this side, straight edge on the panel that I'm keeping, and the score line comes off with this rectangle that I'm removing. Oops, like that. And I'm going to do exactly the same on this end too, so if you want to fast forward past this cutting, feel free. That bit gone, and that bit there gone as well. So that's what we're left with once we've removed all those panels. And then I'm going to turn it this way round, and I'm going to cut down each side of here, again leaving the score line on the outer squares, but we're not removing anything from here. We're just making one cut like that down either side. I'll just bend this back a little bit to keep it out of my way. It's going to bend that way anyway once we put the box together. So there we go, score line removed and the straight edges on here, and the same at the other side. Straight edge down that middle panel, and the score line comes off on this square here, and the same on this side, just like that. Okay, so before we do anything else, I'm going to bring my trimmer in, and what we're going to do is we are going to fold this part in, so the bit that's got this extra bit on the end, fold it under so that we've got these 2 squares that we took the score line off with, and line it up, line this flat edge here up with the second score line along, which is 1/2 inch, just like so, and trim those pieces and turn it round and do the same again. So turn this part in that's got the extra bit here, line this section up to the 1/2 inch mark or thereabouts, and cut. And that's all we need the trimmer for. So now we've got something that looks like this with these little panels here. So we're going to wedge either side of these, just like so. I'm going to do that on both sides. So turn it round and do the same again. So a wedge either side of here and either side of here. There we are. And then we're going to add our designer series paper to these squares here. One will be at the front of the box and one will be at the back. So if you do have a directional paper, make sure that the top is closest to this small rectangle on both sides. I'm just going to trim that little furry part away there. Oh, and added more little funny bits. And then I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal to add my DSP. Whoops a daisy. there. So I think that looks like the spiders are mostly facing that way, and just add that with an even border round the outside like so, and the same with this one. And again, just make sure I'm happy with the direction of my spiders. I'm not sure how many are facing what way, don't suppose it matters. And again, just stick that down with an even border round about like so. So before we do anything else, I'm going to use a punch, a tag topper punch, which I have again forgotten the name of, so bear with me just 2 seconds till I look it up in my catalogue. It is the delightful tag topper punch that I'm going to use, and this is it here. It doesn't really matter which tag topper you use. You've got the scallop tag topper and you've got the delightful tag topper. So just folding one section one way and one section the other to be able to fit that into the punch like so. And this is 2 inches, so it fits the punch, and just turn it round and make sure that both sides are even and that this is butted right up to the top before you punch. And then the same on this side, just pop that in, make sure that it's right up to the top and that you're happy with the sides here. Punch. There we go. And that just adds a nice little design onto the top, and also gives you that little hole to put your ribbon through. So I'm now going to see if my Stampin' Seal Plus will be my friend, because I want to add adhesive to these 4 tabs here, and I don't want to tear my cardstock, which is often what happens. So far so good. Oh, spoke too soon, Karen, didn't you? I think we got off with that though. And last side just here. Fold back any stray edges, just like so. And then these folded edges are going to line up and join to these sides here. So it's straight edge to folded edge like so on both sides, which is what forms our box. So straight edge to folded edge. Oops, it's not exactly straight. It's not great light today and I'm really struggling to see. I need new glasses, that's part of the problem. I'm shocking with what I can and can't see at the moment. So I'm just going to give that a press down to make sure that that's well stuck, and then I'm going to press on these sides here, and the score lines will actually, I probably should have folded and burnished those before I put the box together. It's easier because it saves you getting those little bent bits in the corners. So do fold and burnish before you put it together, and that's the box made. So I'm going to just add a couple of mini glue dots, one either side of here, just to hold the lid closed. So I'm going to pop one just here and one just on the other side as well, just there. I've not used mini glue dots for such a long time, so it's nice to be able to use them in a project. And before I squeeze it together, I'm just going to make sure that my edges all line up nicely, and then I can press the glue dots together and that will hold my box closed. So for this I decided I would try and see what happens with the metallic mesh ribbon, and I've actually already cut a piece here. It is just lovely, and you can pull it and stretch it as well, so it's really quite flexible and forgiving. So I'm just going to pop that through like so, decide which is the front of my box, and I think I'll make this the front because the spider's in the middle. And then I'm just going to again tie that in a double knot, kind of on the front of the box, and I'm just pulling it up and down to begin with so that I can then pull the sides that way round. There we are. And then I'm just going to trim this. I was going to tie this one in a bow, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave the edges, oops, cut at an angle, but maybe better than that. There we are. And just fan those out again as much as they will. No, not gonna do it. I'm not really liking that, so I'm going to cut that off, and I think I'll go back to my original idea of using the black glitter organdy ribbon instead. I think I much prefer it. Let's have a look. So I need about that much, and just make sure I get that the right way round. Tie it. Oh my goodness, I'm all fingers and thumbs. Like so, and just pull it up and down the way first of all, and then it should go sideways, no problem, when I tie the second knot. Just like so. There we are. Yep, I prefer that. Didn't like the mesh ribbon at all. I thought it would have looked nice, but no, it didn't. And I'm just going to snip that here and here. There we are. So get rid of all those bits. And then for my spider, I'm going to use my Blackberry Bliss ink. And I've already got my little spider mounted on a block, and I did have a little inch square piece of Whisper White cardstock, which I think I've managed to drop, so we'll just cut another piece because I don't know where that's gone. I did have it not that long ago, but we'll just cut another piece. So I'm going to grab the strip that I'd already used, which is definitely an inch wide, yep, and then just cut that to an inch that way, and just in case of emergency we'll cut a spare piece in case I don't stamp straight. It's entirely possible. And just open my Blackberry Bliss ink up my wee spider and hope for the best, because I'm not right over the top of this, so I'm hoping that I will get my spider in the middle. Nope. So we'll try that again and just try and level that up a bit more. Stamp about there. Oh look, it was central but I pressed too hard, so thankfully card has two sides. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, last go, and that's not clean, so we need, I'm going to clean the stamp because I've got ink all over it. I am not having much luck with my stamping today, so let's try that again, and I seem to be getting ink everywhere today too, so again we'll cut 2 pieces in case of emergency, but we could be here for quite some time. Let's try that all again and not put so much ink on the spider this time. So I'll bring it a little bit further down, I think, just so that I can get a slightly better look at it. Yep, that's going to do, because otherwise we could be here all day. And then I used I cut up sponges, our Stampin' sponges, and just to take the starkness off, I just inked, sponged round the 4 sides just like that, and it just takes that sharp white edge away. So let's clean the stamp and close up the box, and then I'm going to use my mini black dimensionals just to add this to my box. So I'm going to pop on 4 just like so. There we are. Take off the backing, maybe, and then add my little spider to the front of my box. And that's a shame because I'm covering up that spider there, but never mind, there we go. And then I used my metallic pearls, and I used the silver ones. I'll just cover up the sharp pointy end on here, and my putty seems to be forever growing, so I'm going to add pearl here. Don't know where that stray one has come from, so we'll just pick that one up as well. One about here and one just down here beside that spider, and there you have it, a nice and easy Halloweeny box to put some treats in, and there's plenty room for plenty treats in there. Excuse all the inky fingers as well. I think actually I'm going to trim that ribbon just a little bit. It's just a little bit too long, I think. That's better. There we are. Quick and easy. Nice for some treats or a little toy or something like that. So I hope you like that, and I hope that you do go and visit Alison's project as well and see the box that she made and how she put hers together as well. They're very similar once they're closed, but they're actually made in 2 different ways. So thank you, Alison, for the inspiration, and thank you for watching. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and have a go yourself and see how you get on. But until I see you again, thanks for watching. Bye just now.